Hello and welcome to this week's episode of A Thinking Boy Podcast. I'm your host, Cesar Perez, with...
What's up, everyone? I'm Mikester Prime here. Also, Mike for some people. Some people know me as Mikester Black. I know that's a weird name, but different communities all around, guys.
Mikester Black's a crazy name.
It's a crazy name. It might be my new stage name sometime soon, so we'll see.
We were talking about before you got here, that's a wrestler's name right there.
Aleister Black or Malachi Black now. But Seth Rollins, we're talking about wrestling now.
Tyler Black,
yeah. Seth Rollins is my guy. Like, I love wrestling, and I love Seth Rollins mainly. But yeah, dude. Huge wrestling fan over here for sure.
Let me give you this comparison real quick. Would you say Seth is kind of the HBK of this generation?
Dude, that's really hard because a lot of people would say AJ Styles is. Oh. And I can understand why. I feel like AJ Styles is the Bret Hart of this generation. And I feel like Seth Rollins is the HBK of this generation.
I feel you.
I think that makes more sense. But you could also argue, Daniel Bryan's more of the Bret Hart. But I feel like... And this is going to be a controversial take, but I feel like Daniel Bryan going to AEW may have taken his value just a little bit, his stock just a little bit down, So maybe if he was in WWE, especially with Triple H more in charge now, maybe I can say he's more of the Bret Hart now. But I would definitely say AJ Styles is more of that now in the modern wrestling world.
I feel you. I agree with you. But AJ is still going hard at like 40-something years old.
Dude, he's incredible. And when he came back and he was jacked as hell.
Bro.
Like, I was like, what? Like...
It's crazy because he's more jacked now than he was in like TNA or anything like that.
This is the biggest he's ever been, dude. And honestly, when I saw that, I was like, man, I need to go work out right now. I need to go to the gym, bro.
He's for sure on some TRT shit, definitely.
I'm sure half the roster still is, I'm sure, like, for sure. But when he came back as a heel, I was actually really surprised because, most of his entire run, he's always kind of been... like a baby face, or at the very least beloved, because he was
almost, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because the only time I remember him being a heel was when he was against John Cena, but even then people were cheering for him to be John Cena, but him coming back as a hardcore heel, having those two incredible matches with Cody, man.
The one in France is wild, bro.
Dude, yeah, the France match, the last one too. Like, both matches they had have been incredible, and I would love to see a third one personally.
Sure,
But yeah, man, those are incredible. But yeah, my boy is Seth. So
dude, hell yeah. He just came back last week.
Yeah, he just came back. I thought he was gonna be like out for just a little bit more, but. Man, Seth Rollins, he's like one of those workhorses, Dude. Just a crazy worker and a crazy like performer. And, since we're talking about wrestling, like for me, I like to watch a lot behind the scenes stuff for wrestling. And because to be honest, a lot of my work ethic and like my motivation really comes from like the energy I get from watching all of their work ethic, because that's a competitive business to be in, and it's entertainment, So when I see like an interview like with Seth Rollins or even like The Undertaker or any of them, or Triple H from the past, talking about like just their grind, what they do daily,
business, bro.
The business aspect, it just fuels me to be like, no matter what entertainment industry you're in, there's a business aspect to it that you kind of have to have some sort of education or grasp on if you want to make something out of it. And just like, again, watching their interviews or their backstage stuff, them talking about, every day I get up at this time or I work out, or I think about what I'm going to do with my character for this, or like the business aspect of think about what the audience wants more than what you think you want. Or, it's putting your audience before your own creation sometimes.
Right.
Those things help with my own discipline when it comes to music or in any art form that's
super interesting, man.
Yeah. I don't think I've verbalized that yet on any podcast that I've been on, but but you being a wrestling fan, I'm sure you would understand.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Dude, I was gonna ask you because you brought up the business aspect, and I feel like for me at least, like in terms of podcasting and photography, it's sometimes it's something that I do need to like take more into account. Because I feel like, and we were talking about off camera, an example was like Goldberg who totally got like pushed to the moon and probably didn't really realize politically what was going on with them, like
too early on, you know, like he was too green to really comprehend
that, like they're kind of booking you in a way that isn't like benefiting your character, isn't like benefiting the fans at all, you know.
It's not. I'm not sure he even grasped how uncommon that was for someone to just like join a company and then get pushed to the moon, you know, like, yeah, you're gonna be on pay-per-views, you're gonna go for the world title, you're gonna have an undefeated streak. Like,
dude, they were doing stadiums back then. Not arena stadiums.
Yeah,
like, for fucking Nitro.
They were, and that was at the prime where they were beating WWF at the time, you know. And so to him to step into that, being as green as he was, not knowing what to do in the ring, you know, just doing what his bosses told him to, which is fine, you know, in certain settings. It really ultimately just ended up building him up to his ultimate high, but honestly, not having that experience also made him crash down too, because so many people were after him, you know, and he wasn't probably in that place where he can comprehend exactly what is happening. So
not for sure, especially when you look at like when he went to WWE, which was like a totally different beast in terms of like the political system, but also like how they do their business in general. Yeah,
you know, and it's those different professions. I was actually listening to a podcast that brought this up. You ever listen to Busted Open?
Yeah, with Bubba Ray,
I love Busted Open.
And I think Dave LaGreca, I can't remember.
Dave LaGreca, incredible host, dude.
He's funny,
but it was him, Bully Ray, and I think Medusa. She was in WCW or whatnot. But anyways, she was talking about how when a lot of the wrestlers came from WCW to WWE, the work ethic was so different. Like I think it was either Scott Steiner, was he known as Big Papa Pump at that time? I think so.
Yeah.
He would keep coming late to the arenas, and they told him, hey man, you have to be here on time. But you know, probably coming from WCW, they didn't have to. It was more lax. But being there, they had at WWE, there was more of a professional environment that they probably weren't used to, and he ultimately got let go because of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those prime examples of, you know, you got to really take in like a lot of just like education when it comes to what industry you're going to be in. Like, learn the business as much as you can. Like, if it's photography, if it's podcasting, music, whatnot. So that way when you go into it, you can really adapt just a bit more to you know, different people you can work with and things.
You could almost like plug and play in a way, you know.
It's you know, like plug and play anywhere you go kind of thing. And I've tried to relay that as much as I can with what I do with music.
That's interesting, bro. I've never really I have a lot of my friend Nikki, shout out, he's a huge wrestling fan. I've never had it like broken down that way, where you kind of take aspects of like what they do with the business and then bring it into music thing.
Absolutely. And yeah, like again, like I take all of that energy and just put it somewhere else, and rather it be music or art or animation and things like that. It's because a lot of those people, they're performing at a very high level, and the only way for yourself to match that in your own industry is to also perform at a high level, and keep yourself disciplined in that too. But just on a fun note, I used to want to be a wrestler.
I was gonna say, I could kind of see it. Bro.
I dabbled with it so much. Like, man, should I just go sign up for Booker T's school in Houston? Dude, I would love that.
Did you ever do like amateur wrestling or?
No. I just wrestled my friends, got thrown on mattresses, maybe thrown on like a table once or twice, and it's just. It hurts. So
the do not try at home was this, you know.
No, not for me as a kid, especially going into my teen years. No, not at all. But I think I'm not equipped to take those kind of bumps.
Oh, it's tough, man.
I
mean, right now I'm doing jujitsu, and we have this thing where it's called like break falls, basically, where you kind of like just like a flat back bump.
Taking a
but
bump
on the mat, and even then, sometimes I'm just like, ooh.
Can you imagine just doing that like night after night, performing it?
Piece of like, it's crazy.
So even though I've dabbled with the idea, I know that me personally, I probably wouldn't be able to take it physically.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, physically. If it was more like from a performance aspect of announcing or commentary, maybe that's something to dabble with, but For the actual physical part, no.
That'd be interesting, bro. Seeing you as like a manager or something like that. You know what I mean?
You know, I'm 5'11". I'm a little bit under what they required.
Hey, well, Vince is gone now. Who knows, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Vince is gone, so it's a little bit different, you know. I kind of wish the Undisputed Era was still in WWE while Triple H is in charge. Man, can you imagine how pushed Adam Cole would have been? Man, that would have been insane because he was one of Triple H's guys in NXT. Yeah. He was pushed to the moon, but he was also equipped to handle it. Mm-hmm. So I can only imagine what his run would have been like on the main roster with Triple H in the helm.
You know, it's crazy with him, man, because I was going back. There's this podcast that I listen to, and they always talk about like old topics at the time and stuff like that. I'm kind of catching up or just like re-listening to stuff. And they brought up how like Adam Cole, he was one of the few that didn't get let go by the company. His contract ran out. Yeah. Then he signed to AEW. Mm-hmm. So, because like, they're not letting this guy go, bro.
No, they wanted to keep him. Yeah. They definitely wanted to keep Adam Cole because he's an excellent performer and he's great in the ring. And, like, man, I remember when he trashed, what's his name? Karrion Kross.
Oh, my God.
And the verbal exchange, like, they gave you the entrance. They gave you all of that. But when the bell rings, and I was like, damn, he got him.
He's just on point, dude.
Just on point, and it's so true because I'm rooting for Karrion.
Same, bro. I love the aesthetics. I love that he comes out with this chick.
Yeah,
just old school, like badass dude. But like, there's something that's like, not clicking.
And I like his character and everything. I don't think giving him a faction was the right move. But I kind of was hoping he was going to get thrown into the new Wyatts.
Oh, shit.
I was hoping for that for sure, but it looks like that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. So I'm still hoping they something happens with Karrion Kross.
Yeah, no, for sure. Let me ask you this: shaved head Karrion or bald?
Shaved head, 100%. Yeah. But I know, like I heard in an interview, he wants to grow out his hair because he really wants to embody what the Undertaker was doing at a time and have that kind of look to him. And I'm sure he could do it, but bald-headed Karrion Kross was a menace. Sure, that man was destroying people on NXT, dude. What a scary guy.
What do you think it is? What do you think he's missing on the main roster, though? What do you think it is, man?
I think, I liked he was working with Drew for a bit, and I liked that whole story because he was like, I'm coming for you, chosen one. And, like, just the whole back and forth thing. And I think...
Just, like, stalking his mother.
Yeah, you know honestly, it's not that Karrion can't compel audiences. I don't think that's true at all. I think it's just about who he works with. Like, I love Kofi, and I love the New Day. But having Karrion work with them isn't really going to do much for Karrion Kross. You know?
Kind of also slotting him already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's with the New Day segment. Let me go get some food.
Yeah, and that kind of sucks that falls on the New Day segment because the New Day is great, but just like with them, they're not giving them enough of a compelling story either,
They're also a bit TV old. We've seen them for like years. You know
yeah.
I like when they were fucking around with NXT and kind of like being over there.
Yes.
Kind of like,
I know the New Day doesn't want it, but man, I really want them to split up and someone to turn heel. Like that would
be a cool feud, man. If it's Xavier and Kofi just going at it like 1-on-1.
Yeah, and as much as I think people think Kofi is going to do it, I think Xavier would play such a better heel. He has such charisma, but plus he's the only one in that group that hasn't won the belt.
Yeah.
And that is a great motivation. Like, I'm being held by this tag team. Like,
I don't even think he's won a singles, bro.
I don't recall. Maybe he's been
won like
yeah, maybe it's the US champion. Maybe
he's been with New Day forever.
Yeah,
for a minute.
But he has such charisma. He's done so much with up, down, down.
Yes.
Yeah, so I like when he is a single star because he deserves it. He's the one member again that hasn't won that belt. Mm-hmm. Like that's gonna be really cool. Like everybody is gonna be behind him when he like finally does that. And I hope it's as a heel because he will play that to a T. Like,
definitely,
God,
bro, definitely. Yeah, well, let me ask you this, man. What kind of got you, or what are your kind of earliest memories of professional wrestling?
Man,
when did you fall in love with it, bro? Go ahead, tell it to me.
So I actually watched WCW first.
Interesting.
And it was Sting. Like Crow Sting. But when he was like in the balconies with his baseball bat, looking down at the NWO and just being like, I'm gonna come down there, I'm gonna beat y'all's ass.
Dude, he's literally fucking dropped.
Yeah, I've always been in love with that kind of like dark, kind of goth aesthetic. And he kind of got me into WCW. And some of my other favorites, of course, Undertaker and Kane. Yeah. So
I have so many questions for you. I was gonna Undertaker, fucking Sting, all that, so many things.
Like, I was such a huge Undertaker and Kane fanboy. I would buy their comics. Like, I still have the original line of Undertaker comics, the first 10 issues, and the one Halloween special that came out too when he was in the Ministry of Darkness. Just throwing that out there, just so you know. But he was my guy. And honestly, Undertaker, Sting, and Kane was like a gateway into metal for me. Mm-hmm. You know, that dark, gothic aesthetic. I was just like, man, I want more.
Dude, they were throwing fucking Dragon Ball Z fireballs at each other. Like,
dude, it was crazy. I have so many old like tapes of like when they would do these like thematic tapes of like their storylines, where they have someone narrate the Undertaker storyline with Kane, like their Brother of Destruction stuff. But yeah, it was Crow Sting and WCW and that whole thing. But eventually I turned the channel to WWF at the time, and I just got so enthralled by Stone Cold Steve Austin, man.
What a fucking...
Like, man, that guy got me into short shorts. So you probably can't see it right now, but if it wasn't for...
I'm right there with you, bro.
Bro, he had the jean short shorts, and like, I'm like, damn. And
dude, I'm all black, like, simple, just one mode of just ass kicking.
Just ass kicking.
His gimmick was literally that he was pissed off and just wanted to fuck ass somebody.
And I was like, I feel pissed off right now just watching him. Like, he's beating up his boss. I'm like, oh, like my teacher, you know. Like,
dude, so how old were you when all this was going on?
Dude, I was a kid. Like, so I'm 32 years old.
Okay.
I'm an old ass fart.
I'm 27.
Man. What's up, man? We're kind of in the same age group. We're there. You know, we're there. So I don't remember how old, but I know this stuff happened in like 1997. So I was like 5 or something, you know. Okay. But I loved it. I was
born 97, so I caught the tail end of it.
Yeah. So for me, I know I went to events and stuff, but I know the biggest events I ever went to as a kid was when WrestleMania was in Houston.
Damn, 17?
17, Rock versus Stone Cold. Yeah, I still have like old, like Polaroid looking photos of that shit.
That's sick,
and
bro.
Like, I don't remember anything visually except for the Hardys and that Hardys match tables, ladders, and chairs. I still remember visually to this day, from my perspective, from my seat, of when Edge just speared just off that fucking ladder. I was like,
dude, to this day, it's funny because I have a friend named Eric who's he's super casual, but every time he comes over, we'll like chief it up a little bit. I'm like, let me show you some shit. So like yesterday, I showed him like Nakamura and Sami Zayn just like tearing it up.
Yeah.
But I always like showing him the old shit. He's like, go ahead, show me the old stuff. He's like, because I vaguely remember, but I really don't. Some of those bumps were insane, crazy,
insane. Like, I got my girlfriend into wrestling.
Nice,
okay?
Bro. Hell yeah.
Like, it's funny. I was just watching it. I was like, hey, do you mind if I just watch this like event that's happening? It's like on Peacock or whatever, right? I don't remember which pay-per-view it was, but I was watching it, and you know how they had the video packages leading up to the matches,
kind of educate the people.
Yeah. And we were watching it, and she's like, oh my god, there's so much drama, and she was just loving the build up to these people finally fighting. I'm like, yeah, that's what it's all about. It's just like physical theater, you know. That's what it is, you know. And so we're watching it. And, you know, she knows that, like, it's scripted. She knows that there's a winner. But because of the video package that they showed that got her so invested in these two that are about to... I believe it was Asuka and Io, I believe. Okay. That was their match, like, last year. And she was like, I want to see them fight. And when they were fighting and taking their bumps, she was like, oh, my God, that looked like it hurt. Did it hurt? Like, I don't know. I'm sure it hurt. Like... So, like, yeah, I got her into it, and now anytime there's an event, like, we watch it together and stuff.
That's incredible,
It's so cool to have a partner that is willing to watch some of the geeky stuff you like. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy, dude.
That's sick, dude. I was going to say, my friend Andres, he has, like, his girlfriend and their friend Becky. And they always come over for events. They're like are super casual as well, but you know what, they're really into the divas, or not the divas, but the women's wrestlers.
Women's wrestling, yeah,
they're really into it, bro. Like Dude. They know all the shit about. When it comes to them, they know about like Rhea Ripley. They know about everyone. Bro.
Yeah. Like my girlfriend was really into like Damage Control for a bit. She really liked the Japanese wrestlers in there and
the
stuff like that.
Aesthetics and everything.
Yeah, just like wow, their makeup is so cool. And then when they're taking table bumps and stuff, she's like, oh. You know, but yeah, dude, wrestling it's been a part of my life for a very long time. I got out of it during the Ruthless Aggression era, so like I missed a lot of great moments. But when I got back to it later on, thanks to an old bandmate of mine in a different band called King Finn, he got me into wrestling, but it was mainly like Japanese wrestling. New Japan. New Japan
goes hard.
I was like, I didn't know this stuff existed. He showed me that, and then a wrestler from there moved to WWE, and then I got back into WWE, and I was like, wow, this kind of sucks, but I'm liking it. It was back in like PG time, you know. Yeah, it was Roman Reigns was the big dog. He got the dog food poured on him.
Shit.
But I was But Seth Rollins was champ at the time. He was Universal champ. He just won it from Brock, and I was like, dude, I like this guy a lot. This is badass. Yeah. And then I learned about the Shield stuff, and I went back and watched that on the WWE Network, and I was like, yo, okay, so there's some badass characters that I could really follow that are really cool, you know. And then from there, I just geeked out and got into it more.
Even Roman, I always knew that I knew that they were like pushing the shit out of him.
Yeah.
But I also knew that like there is something there. You know what I mean? There was always something there that he had, like whether it was aesthetics or his physical, like, you know what I'm saying?
Dude,
I don't know what it was.
I liked Roman a lot. Like I was one of the few people. I had friends that watch wrestling too. And they're like, I don't like Roman, and I'm like, I think Roman's really cool. Like his moveset to me wasn't limited. His mic work wasn't bad. You could just tell that like you could tell he just wasn't comfortable in that position. Yeah. Even as a viewer, you can tell like he didn't want to be in this position. And once you find that out like 5 years later, you're like, haha, see, you know. But like the things he was doing, like I loved certain matches that he had, because with his style, when he had matches with Daniel Bryan or like or Bray Wyatt, you know, with the Wyatt family, or with Seth, you know, he had great matches with them. And people would always say, they're just leading him in it. You know, they're like, really doing the matches. But
they're carrying him.
Yeah, but you got to give them credit, because there was a time where a lot of kids really liked Roman Reigns as the big dog, and they watched it because they, you know, projected themselves in him. He was really holding up the company at that time.
You know what blows my mind with the whole situation? You have a guy who like apparently like suffers like from leukemia, and like is sick and all that stuff, and you would think that like, how could we ever boo this man? How could we ever like dislike a guy who's going through this like really like a really in real life struggle? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Turns around as like tribal chief,
dude,
and
man.
like to me that's such a fucking like, I'm like, all right, you know what? I get it. Like I get why he's like the main guy. I get why he's the ticket mover, because like, how do you do that? How do you go from being like this like lovable guy who's like, Jesus Christ, like having a medical affliction that took him out?
Yeah, and you know, people genuinely hated him, but now everybody loves to hate him.
Oh yeah.
When he became the tribal chief and the whole bloodline story
during COVID, bro,
dude,
during COVID,
during COVID, and he took that belt and held it for like what, over 1,000 something days.
Like 4 years.
What is he, the third longest or the fourth longest champion in WWE history? I can't remember if
he beat Hogan or not.
He didn't beat Hogan.
No, he didn't beat Hogan.
Hogan is second, right? And then Bruno Sammartino is number one. Bob Backlund was either number 3 or got outdone by Roman.
I think he beat Bob Backlund. Yeah.
But yeah, man, when Tribal Chief Roman came out, you gotta acknowledge him.
Put it up.
Yeah. I do it as a joke in front of my girlfriend. Sometimes like we'll do this funny thing, right? We'll be in like a playful argument or a debate, and she'll just be like, she'll put up her ones. I'm like, I'm sorry, babe. I acknowledge you.
Oh my god,
it's hilarious. But
my boy do it at shows.
Oh, really?
Where you at? And he's like, oh, I'm in the front. I'll look at him, and we make eye contact, and we're just real quick, bro.
It's so cool, man. But dude, I love wrestling, and I'm probably gonna be a fan for the rest of my life. You know?
Absolutely, I'm right there with you.
And I have the comics. I love watching all the backstage stuff. And, you know, one of my favorites was Bray Wyatt. And, of course, you know, he passed away and stuff like that. And the Fiend character, I loved all the characters and incarnations that he had. The Wyatt family was wonderful. The Eater of Worlds was great. Man, when he came back as the Fiend, you know, like, what was, like, 4 years ago or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Dude, that was incredible.
2018-ish.
It was so incredible seeing somebody do something as inventive as that in pro wrestling.
And then when you look at the behind the scenes stuff, like you said, where he got the mask designed by, like, I forgot his name, the horror.
I forgot his name too, but, like, just the amount of detail he went into his character. And like I said, like, a lot of this stuff that I see in these documentaries and stuff like that, it fuels me to do the same in what I'm doing. And you could probably ask anybody that I've ever worked with when it pertains to music and stuff like that. I always have, like, these elaborate ideas that I want to come to life, like when it pertains to music and stuff. Like, hey, let's give these songs thematics. Let's give them stories. Let's make this album have this kind of, like, thing it wants to tell, and let's represent that visually for this photo shoot or for this music video and stuff like that. Cohesiveness. And watching things like the Bray Wyatt documentaries and stuff like that, the insanity behind his creations, like, it's like, man, that's so cool. Like, I'm not saying, like, oh man, I'm crazy creative, but I'm like, I see that and, like, man, it makes me want to go make something, like, right now.
Inspirational, man.
Yeah, inspirational. Yeah, definitely for sure. But yeah, Bray Wyatt, incredible. The Wyatt 6 just came out.
Oh my goodness, bro!
What an incredible debut, dude! What an incredible debut, man!
That was
like,
sick, bro.
I watched it maybe like 10 times.
Well, you think so? That was live then, yeah? That had to be live when they were going through with the camera.
Dude, that was live. That was definitely live. Like, they followed him out and everything, and that was incredible that they pulled that off. Like, WWE right now is incredible.
Hot, they've been hot for a minute.
Yeah, it's incredible. And, you know, for fans that either came back during the PG era or that have been fans that weathered through that for so long are really being rewarded right now.
Couldn't agree with you.
Yeah, man. Dude, because the patience in all this, but also the storytelling, it just got so much better. And I fucking love it. Like, I can cuss on this podcast, absolutely, right? All right, so yeah, I fucking love it. Yeah, that introduction was crazy, man.
You got your boy Bo Dallas, dude.
Dude.
You know what's funny? I always wanted them to interact with each other. You keep talking. You're recording right now.
Yeah. So with, like, and I'm glad you brought up the Bo Dallas thing. So I was watching the documentary that they had. The Bo Dallas one, where he was looking at all of Bray's stuff after he passed. I don't know. Did you watch that documentary? Yeah.
The speech that he gave was crazy.
Yeah. At the funeral too. But I was watching all of his stuff, and he was looking at, like, Bray's old mask designs and the storylines that he had left over, and you can just tell he was at that table, and you could just tell, like, he felt like he had this huge task on his hand of how can I finish this for my brother, kind of thing. And in that moment, and that's why I love watching these things, because these are all artists just going through their own real life stuff and bringing it into characters and stories that they create. And again, for me, like, I had to pause at that moment, because personally for me, that made me tear up.
Oh yeah.
And because for me, and I had this band called King Finn. We were just a local band. We did remotely big things that a local band could do, you know, played at Free Press Summerfest, Main Stage House of Blues, cool shit, cool stuff, you know. But my guitarist in there, I made music with him since I was 12. So it was a good decade and some change. We had made music together, but also been competitors, because we also had our own bands too. But he was a brother to me, and we were like brothers and stuff. Like, everybody in that band was. But unfortunately, he had passed away in a car accident coming back from seeing another local band perform, because he supported the scene so much. You know,
I'm so sorry to hear that, dude.
Yeah, you know, but yeah, he was always out there supporting all the bands and stuff like that. No matter, like, if you had a show at, like, White Swan or, you know,
Walters, bro.
Walters. Yeah, I had my EP release show at Walters when it was around, dude. he was always out there, and him coming back from a show and then unfortunately having an accident and passing away, you know, that sucks. And I was really sad, but it made me reflect back to this moment that all of us left in the band had after his passing, after his funeral. We all gone to, me and the rest of Kingfin all gone to the car together, and we sat there and we just thought, like, can we continue this band without him? Because he was the main creator, the driving force, and just a business savvy, smart guy. He made all the music, and to give him all the credit for it, like, you know, he came up with drum parts for me too, because I was uneducated and undisciplined at the time to know what works well with music. I was a wild drummer. But we all sat there and thought, like, how are we going to finish this, or how are we going to continue this? And it was hard, and we ultimately made the decision to do it. And it took us 3 years, but we finished up an album that was dedicated to him and stuff like that. And
oh, wow.
Then we went our own separate ways. And now for me, after that, I had left music for a bit, for about 2 years, and I had came back in, and I felt like I had a lot of unfinished business with music, and it had a lot to do with him too, because the guitar I play, I don't know if you've seen pictures of me with this Explorer guitar, this Explorer Gibson, that's his guitar. And I'm very fortunate enough to play that guitar on stage and create with this instrument. And ultimately, I made it a goal, like, how do I get this guitar on bigger and bigger stages, so in some essence, he still got to live out his dream.
You're bringing him along with you?
Yeah, kind of like that feeling, you know. And there's some pictures out there, too, where I have a photo of him just, like, pinned on my amp or something like that, you know. Because I like the sound that I have, but I like to, and I'll take credit for the crazy things that I make on guitar and stuff like that. But a lot of that sound, if you listen to anything I did in Shop 29 or whatever, a lot of that sound derives from things that he created in himself and his kind of playing style, like these big ambient guitar sounds and stuff. So when I was watching that Bo Dallas thing, like, I had a moment where I had to pause, and it made me reflect on my own, like, creations and my own struggle. And it made me think, like, man, what am I doing? What is my purpose with music, and what do I want to do with it? And so, like, at this moment, I'm, like, creating this album that's really, like, kind of exploring that essence of creative grief and stuff like that for those kind of things. But yeah, it was just,
that's powerful, man.
Yeah, again,
that's powerful,
taking it back, you know, you watch these other artists and their backstage stuff and their interviews, and honestly, it can really motivate you in so many different ways for your own art forms and stuff. Mm. So, yeah, art is crazy.
That's crazy, dog.
Yeah,
that's actually, like, really powerful. I had no idea about any of that.
Yeah, dude, you know, music, art. I mean, we're all artists, you know, and we all fancy ourselves as creatives. And, you know, even in podcasting, you have to be creative to do this too, you know, and you do photography, so you're in a creative field yourself. So, you know, like, there's different motivations behind it, rather it be a goal, an emotional motivation, whatever it is, you know, those things become powerful things for us to accomplish these art forms that we set out that bring us joy, you know. So yeah, that's mine.
That's awesome, dude. That's actually, like, really incredible. I'm honored that you told that story on here, man. That's really sweet.
Yeah, you know, I appreciate it. You gave me a platform to tell the story, and anytime I could mention him and his name and everything that he's done for, like, the community and stuff like that. And I made a post recently for this last fest. You know, I was behind my drum kit, and I made a post right before we played our set at Alternative Summer, like, literally 2 days ago. I posted a picture with a drumstick that I have that is engraved King Finn on it, and just said, like, yeah, this set's dedicated to my brother who I miss dearly. So yeah, all the time I get the chance to show appreciation for him, because, like, he helped me develop a lot of discipline as a musician. He was younger than me by, like, 2 years, but he was so much more mentally mature when it came to creating stuff and goals with that. So, but yeah.
I can't remember if you have any tattoos. Do you have any, like, King Finn tattoos?
Man, no. I'm kind of a bitch when it comes to needles. Like, to be honest, I wish I've always, because, you know, I just said I love the Undertaker and stuff. Right. I always wanted a sleeve, But am I willing to have a needle poke me for like 3 hours? No.
Dude, so I don't. Do you know who Peso Pluma is?
No, I don't.
He's like a Spanish Mexican artist who's like coming up pretty fast, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But he did this crazy shit. I can show you a video after, but he got like sedated, so they totally put him under. Like they gave him like I don't know what it was, morphine or something, but he totally got out. And got 2 sleeves done, bro, in like a 5-hour session.
While he was knocked out?
Yeah.
Man, if I could do that, and just wake up and be like, oh, shit. Sick, like, you know, just like, man, I would totally do that.
That shit looks like, crazy, bro. He got some crazy stuff done. A lot of like black and gray stuff, but like he totally got it done in like one day.
Look, if there's any tattoo artists out there watching this right now, and you can knock me out and tap me up, let's do it. I'm so down. But yeah, I'm deeply like afraid of needles for some reason. Like I gave blood at my job once. It was like a cancer research place. I didn't realize this, but like a couple seconds in, I had fainted. I was like, and I didn't even know. I came to. I was like, what's going on? And one of my coworkers was like, hey, you fainted, bro. Here, drink this Coca-Cola. Like, because, you know, I guess you need like sugar. Yeah. Stuff like that. I was like, oh, man, this is embarrassing. You have like so many people waiting in the hallway, like, oh my God, did he faint? Like, oh shit. I was like,
man.
You know, it happens, man.
It happens, dude.
Kind of didn't help that I worked out that morning and did not eat, but you know.
That's happened to me a couple times, dude.
Yeah, I can't look at the needle at all taking out my blood, but.
You know what got me one time?
What?
I was with my ex and we had went to get her like that like birth control shit like taken out of her, like her arm, and I don't know, I think it was just because it was her specifically and like we were dating at the time, but seeing it get yanked out, and I saw like a little bit of like fatty tissue, I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa. And the lady was totally gave me shit. She's like, you're supposed to be fanning there, like doing all this other shit. I'm like, God damn. I was like, give me a second, my bad.
So funny story. Like, I originally was going to go into nursing.
Same, dude.
And I was in anatomy class, and like I was like killing it. And then when I went to college for the bit that I did, I was like doing more, you know, science and biology classes. But then it came to a point where they were showing us the things we were going to have to do. And I never made it to actual nursing school. I was just doing like prerequisites to get there. Same. And I was like, oh, my God, I don't think I could take somebody's blood. I don't think I could stick a needle in somebody's arm. Like, I'm going to have to cop out.
You know what got me, bro? When I realized, like, all right, this may, like, not be for me. Because after high school, I was like, you know, nursing seems like a decent field to get into. Yeah. Always have a job, you know. It was COVID, bro.
Really?
Yeah, I saw how it's, like, hard the fucking nurses were, like, going and, like, just going through it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm so glad I'm not a nurse right now.
Yeah.
And me realizing that, I was just kind of like, well, I feel like if I had the passion for it and the desire for it, I would be like, oh man, I wish I was there, like volunteering, helping out.
Dude,
I just didn't have it, bro. And I was like, well, I just can't.
Yeah, that whole COVID time for all nurses was super insane. I had a couple of friends on social media who are nurses, and one of them, her name is Tammy. She would post up like in her stories just like how crazy the hours are, how crazy it is at the hospital at the time, like, and just like how they don't feel like they're being like appreciated for like the amount of energy they're giving, because they're what was it called at the times, essential workers.
Yes.
Yeah, they're considered essential workers, but having the title essential workers didn't come with the appreciation that they deserved. And I remember her and a lot of other nurses were just posting just a lot of their like frustrations with it and stuff. And my girlfriend's a nurse. She had graduated nursing school earlier this year, or no, in December of last year, and she just got her first nursing job. She's at home health, which is a little bit more chill, which saying anything a little bit more chill for a nurse is probably not chill for the average person at all. But she only has one patient she has to deal with, and she likes it a lot. She's eventually going to move up to a hospital, which I'm like, all right, let's just get you mentally ready for that, because it's probably going to be crazy over there. You got to
watch Scrubs, Grey's Anatomy.
Watch Scrubs. Honestly, it was Scrubs that wanted me to work in nursing when I was younger. I was like, man, if it's going to be a sitcom, why not?
Yeah, you have like a, you know, a buddy named Turk.
Yeah, just like, we're going to have dance numbers? Let's go. Let's do it. The Office lied to me, too. Like, oh, man, I can't wait to work in an office. Just feel like just paperwork, bro.
God damn it, dude. God damn
it. Sitcoms lied to us.
And random drama as well. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
well, that's a given. You're going to have drama in any workplace you go to, so... But the comedy is not a given, which sucks. Why can't the comedy be a given, everyone?
That's so... You know, man, Scrubs is a show that I used to watch, like, back in the day when I was younger, just because we didn't have cable and shit, and I would always watch, like, the reruns.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to go back to it as an adult. I just haven't had a chance to.
I haven't had a chance to either. I went back to The Office as an adult, and it was a great time, but... Man, you're right. Going back to Scrubs would probably be an interesting
with, like,
thing.
Adult vision, you know?
Yeah, because I watched it as like a teenager and shit, and I was like, wow, I fucking love this show, you know? But as an adult, I wonder, will I love it now? But yeah, it was a great show. I watched it, like, I guess all the way through. Once JD's character left, I still tried to watch it, but it just wasn't entertaining. It was the same thing for when that 70s show lost, like, Eric and all that stuff.
And you had that guy who replaced him. What's his name?
Yeah, I forgot his name. So we all forgot his name. So.
For some reason, he was like just chilling with them all the time.
Yeah, he was like a weird dude. He always acted like, yeah, man, I'm down for anything. I'm like, oh, this guy's kind of fucking weird.
He's a little fucking weird. He's opposite of Eric, really.
Yeah, opposite of Eric or whatever. But then he had that forced relationship with him and Donna once Eric left. And I was like,
the fuck you doing shit like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That kind of always happens when, like, a character leaves. And it happened with The Office when Michael Scott left, you know. Once that main guy leaves, you know, it's
a big hole to fill.
It's a big hole. And, you know, I think The Office did, out of all the shows, The Office did a better job.
I think it had more like characters to lean on.
Yeah, the cast was crazy. Yeah, the cast was great, dude, you know, and so The Office did a way better job with that. But that's the show, not so much.
Let me ask you this. Because we were talking about it kind of just fucking around, really, but like I was curious about it a little bit. Because like the whole, I'm a softie at heart. The whole Jim and Pam thing, I like realized like, that's like adorable. It's like a good relationship. Was Jim dirty macking on Pam a little bit? Was she throwing it at him a little bit? What was going on?
You talking about in the first seasons, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, man, I was kind of fucked up.
Sitting on his lap.
Yeah, like they were like doing that typical like, you know, fucking work husband kind of shit, and like she had a whole man over here,
a whole fiance.
And Jim is like, bro, you know she's got somebody. What you doing? But kind of calm down.
I feel like she was throwing it to him a little bit.
Yeah. She was just as guilty as him.
Right.
Even though, you know, he should have known better. She also should have known better, too, because she was the one in the relationship already.
Right,
you know?
He was single.
You know, and of course, like, I think in the show, they're playing young adults. So, you know, we're all kind of stupid still at that age in our early 20s and stuff like that. Right. So, yeah, I guess they get a pass, but still, you know, like, I was fucked up.
Also, Roy seemed like kind of a fucking weirdo as well, you know what I'm saying? He was kind of a... Fuck that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Her first, he was he a janitor or what was he? He was like a box
like a delivery.
Guy, He was a warehouse guy. Yeah, that's what he was. Yeah.
He got pepper sprayed by Dwight, dude.
That was hilarious, dude. God, dude, yeah. So she was kind of throwing it on him for sure.
What are you watching any shows now?
Man, am I? I mean,
shows that you're into right now?
I keep up with WWE, that's for sure. But I recently rewatched Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I love that show. It was my first time rewatching it since I was a kid, because my girlfriend had never watched it.
I heard it's incredible. I've never seen it. I've seen episodes here and there, but never seen the full thing.
What an incredible show that is! From start to finish, it is legitimately an animation masterpiece.
Nickelodeon, shout out.
Nickelodeon, man. What's up? That was some good shit you did there. But we rewatched that.
Is Korra worth the...
I'm rewatching it right now, so I'll let you know when I'm done. For sure. I'm on season 2 and I'm liking it for sure. I remember everybody hated it back then, and I was one of the people that tried to be patient with it too. Because the character... So it's funny. So the original one, they're all kids, so... We're a little bit more patient with kid characters because they have just little kid problems.
Yeah.
But the characters in Korra, they're teenagers, so teenage problems are kind of fucking annoying. Yeah. You know, like, you know, all the romance kind of things happening, like you're making dumb decisions. But, you know, they decided to write authentic teenage characters, so which makes me think about the times I used to watch Degrassi. I don't know if you watched Degrassi.
Man, you know, it's funny you said that. I never watched Degrassi, by the way, but I have Drake's uncle right here. Go ahead, take a look at that.
Oh,
it's Larry Graham right there, bro.
Ooh, damn, man.
You kind of see he looks a little like Drake, huh, on the cover, like the fucking eyes and shit.
I see a little Drake in him. Drake should bring the mustache out.
That'd be crazy. Imagine,
dude. This is crazy.
Yeah,
this is crazy right here too. We were talking about this earlier.
That is pretty crazy, man. Shout out to my boy Paul real quick. He gave me a Japanese version of Thriller by Michael Jackson. Dude, it's crazy.
Paul, that is an excellent gift.
I think my friend Fern, because my friend Fernando and his girl Brittany, I don't know where the fuck to put this. They recently got into vinyl, and he never realized that there was a Japanese version. He's like, dude, can I have this? And I was like, nah. And he's just like, I don't think you realize how fucking sick this shit is. This is like really,
it's badass. Really cool.
I was like, damn. I might have it on like display or some shit, but I like having it on during the podcast. You know? What I mean?
Man, that's one of the coolest backdrops I've ever seen. Even if like they can't notice it or not, but yeah, that's awesome, dude. And like anything part of your collection that's in just a different language, because they're like regions have sometimes different cover art for certain things they like put out there. Like there's tons of movies out there,
posters, dude,
posters and everything that have like different cover art and stuff like that, based upon the regions they're at. So like as a fan, especially if you like the work, it'd be really cool to have, you know.
For sure, definitely.
Not so much for Dragon Ball though. Like a lot of that stuff's trash. Like especially a lot of the dubs out. Have you ever heard the Canadian dub? No, it's not the Canadian dub. No,
I know what you're talking about. It's like Red Studio or some shit like that. Blue Ocean.
Is it Blue Ocean? Because I know they have the Ocean dub, which isn't too bad. That was like the original dub of Dragon Ball. I think there's like a French dub that's really horrible. But whatever, it's
How are you with Dragon Ball, bro? Because like I have the nostalgia of like Sean Schimmel, you know what I'm saying, Chris Sabat. I have all the OG like to me those are the voices. You feel me? Now with Super, I was able to like, since I was watching it live, I was able to like, you know, watch the sub. I didn't really mind it too much, but if I had a preference, I low-key would probably pick the dub, man. I'll be honest with you, bro.
Man, it's hard to say. Like, okay, so I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. And I say Dragon Ball, it encompasses Z, GT, Super.
The original was so good, by the way.
The original, yeah.
It was so funny.
Like, when they had the original on TV, on Toonami, for the time that they had, and I saw it for the first time, I was like, it's not the same. But then as I kept watching, I was like, fuck, I'm liking this. I'm kind of liking it a little bit more than the actual series. The tone was so different because it kept the original Japanese music too. But when it comes to like voice actors and which one I'd prefer, I'm gonna always prefer the English dub.
Right.
I just am.
I don't know if it's that specific one. It might be just that specific one, like for the nostalgia for me at least.
Yeah.
Like, man, it just hits home. Krillin, bro. Like to me, that's Krillin's voice. You know what I'm saying?
But I also feel like Dragon Ball to me is a bit skewed because I prefer the English dub, but I still don't prefer the original music on top of it.
Oh.
I am a huge fan of the English dub music. It's commonly referred to as the Bruce Faulkner music, but I'm a huge nerd and I'll break it down for you. He didn't write most of that music at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his team wrote it, and actually, you should look that up sometimes. It's a really good documentary.
He was like composing it, or what
he took a lot of credit for a lot of work that they did. I went to, it was a Dragon Ball convention in Dallas, Kamehameha.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah, and they do it every year, but I went to the first one, and they had, not only did they have Chris Sabat there, they had the Japanese voice actor for Vegeta, and they had the Ocean dub voice actor, the one who was before Chris Sabat, Vegeta there as well. You know, the one for the famous "It's over 9,000." Yeah, that one. He was there too, and they had a whole panel. But the most amazing thing I have ever got to experience as an English dub, Toonami, Funimation, Dragon Ball fan was seeing the original artists of those music, those compositions, play them live.
Holy shit.
I heard the Vegeta theme live, like being performed by the people who made it, bro. And then they did the Super Saiyan 3 song. Then they did
Perfect Cell.
Dude, they were playing all the music. And I'm like, fuck, this is incredible.
So it was a band then. It wasn't even him.
It was a group of different artists. Yes, okay. They came together and they composed it. Definitely look that up as a Dragon Ball fan for sure. So I would say, and going back to your original question, it's the English dub, but I love that original music. Because it creates such an atmosphere. If you go back to the Frieza saga or the Cell saga, that music honestly makes a lot of those moments.
Yeah. It just seems like shit's about to pop off.
Yeah, it made it intense, and it was different from everything else on TV at that time, especially for cartoons or anime.
Bro, I was like 4 or 5 blowing my mind.
Like I'm going here from Kids Next Door, like doing like stuff like that, and it's all silly, and then you get this like dun 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 dun, dun this stare down anime. I'm like, what?
Dude, who used to give me the commercials when they'd be like Dragon Ball Z tonight uncut. You heard me
at 5:30 on Toonami.
Like you heard me uncut. I'm just like, fuck. I was like, what the fuck are they gonna show? Jesus,
the blood, the violence, all of that stuff. But I appreciate all the Japanese music, and I watched all of Super in Japanese because, it was airing at the same time. Yeah. And then I rewatched it in English. And I remember my first, interaction with the Japanese version of Dragon Ball was during the Cell saga, right? And I was a kid when it was on TV. I think I was in 4th grade when Gohan first went Super Saiyan 2 in America for the English dub. And it was an incredible moment. But there was this this random, and it was before anime was big in our area, in Houston in general, or in North America. There was this random anime store in Memorial City Mall, just in this random spot before you walk into the Target that they have there. Okay. Right? And I walked in. I've never seen an anime store in my life except for maybe a Hello Kitty store at Hong Kong City Mall in A-Leaf in the Bel Air area. I walked in and they had these Japanese tapes of Dragon Ball, these actual ones. And it was the Fusion Reborn movie with Gogeta. Okay. And it was not in English yet. All you ever saw of Gogeta was in magazines. We haven't been introduced to Super Saiyan 3 yet at all. Jesus, and I saw this. You skipped the fucking. And I grabbed it, dude, and I was like, who are all these? What the fuck? I'm excited. Oh, this is incredible. Mom, can we get this? And I got it. I brought it home.
So it's all Japanese.
It's all Japanese. Jeez. And it was in those Japanese white cassette tapes that they had too. I put it in. I watched it. And the moment I heard Goku's voice, I was like, what? He was like, Nina. I was like, whoa, what? And I kept watching. I was like, what is this?
Dude, it took me a long time to get used to Goku's voice. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it took me a very long time. And now I could appreciate it as I'm older. She killed it.
Now I actually love it. That to me is I love the English dub Goku voice, but I feel like her Goku voice is the most authentic you're gonna get to what that character is.
Especially when you look up that she kind of voices him as almost a not a hick, but almost I
think it was country bumpkin kind of thing.
Like a goofy kind of guy.
Of course we wouldn't know because we're not Japanese, but he has more country-esque slang, Japanese slang. In the Japanese dub and stuff like that. Yeah, man, I'm a huge geek for Dragon Ball. I have figurines. I have a whole collection. I have a lot of the mangas. I even have the old, I don't know if you ever saw these, but they're Dragon Ball had their own magazine too, really? As well here in America. I used to order them too, and huge fan. It got me into art, but it also got me into music. It's crazy to think about it, but a lot of those sounds, because it's just these ambient kind of thing. You remember the music in the English dub. A lot of that inspired me to make a lot of shit that I have now. Do you remember that Cell theme? It's just so iconic. That was dope, dude.
That shit's sick, man.
It's sick, dude. So yeah, huge geek for that.
I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z, dude. I think that's just somewhat a property that I'm always gonna carry with me. Almost similar to wrestling, where it's I'm just always
man. Those two things, and that's cool. We have that in common. Those are two big entertainment parts of my life, for sure.
You ever try to become a Super Saiyan in your room, bro?
Oh, absolutely. You know how many times I did the Kamehameha in a pool? Like, you know, just the water would go in. It's like, hell yeah, you know. I remember there was that moment where Gohan was teaching Videl how to do that. You know, the energy ball. I'm sure we all were there like, all right. Dude. It's gonna happen, like the energy's gonna come out. So
you know what's funny, man? Like my very first introduction to Dragon Ball was like in Spanish.
Whoa, yeah, dude, the Spanish dub is amazing. Yeah, the voices in the Spanish dub is, dude. Cell's voice scares me,
bro. I think Goku's Tony the Tiger. I think he's Tony the Tiger in Spanish as well.
That's crazy. I think it's the same guy. Yeah, dude. I remember they had when I think it was when Resurrection of F was coming out, they had the Spanish dub had a promotional thing for shoes that were coming out, but specifically in Mexico, and it was like Frieza shoes and Goku shoes. I'm like, that is so fucking cool.
Mexico goes hard for
dude. They do. Do you remember seeing clips from the events when Jiren fought Goku?
Yes.
And they in Mexico,
literally projectors.
They had their own festival of hundreds of people watching this 1 hour special of Ultra Instinct Goku fighting Jiren.
Cheering, bro.
Dude, they had posters of it like, yo, come to this event. I'm like, I wish I was there, but I was so
I don't know
cool.
if this is true, but supposedly, again, I don't know. I get lost in these Mexican memes, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But supposedly, RIP, when Toriyama had passed away, the cartels stopped everything, and we're just like, nothing happens like the next couple of days.
I wouldn't be surprised because, like, as big as Dragon Ball is here for us in Mexico and a lot of other countries, especially Spanish-speaking countries.
Yeah, not for sure.
It is huge there, like really huge, and I can understand why. Like other shows, like Saint Seiya was really big there. I know Naruto's really big there too, but Dragon Ball is like the biggest anime in a lot of Spanish-speaking countries.
Dude, on my way to work, there's a fucking place called Tacos de Saiyan, which makes them like Saiyan tacos.
That's
and like
so
they
cool.
Have a literally picture of Gohan like serving up fucking a plate of like 4 tacos.
Yeah, but like you can't even go to like a flea market.
Yeah.
You can't even go to like a flea market.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Without like seeing like Dragon Ball figures everywhere. Like when they have an anime store at any flea market, it's really just a Dragon Ball store with some anime stuff. You know, like I had a vendor at my show like 2 days ago for the festival. He's a great friend of mine. His name is Mario. What's up, Mario? What was your vendor name? I forgot, but I'll plug it in later. Anyways, he had this whole anime merch thing, like Hello Kitty and all this other stuff, and he had this whole shirt lineup thing. And one of my friends went over there. He's like, "Oh, he's got anime shirts. Let me go check it out." I was like, "Yeah, go check it out. It's cool stuff." He came back. He's like, "Man, there's nothing but Dragon Ball shirts." I'm like, what's wrong with that? Like, but
he knows his audience.
Yeah. But Mario's a cool dude. But like he's from Mexico. Like he's super Spanish speaking, so he loves Dragon Ball. I remember when me and him first met like a whole decade ago, playing music together. We just bonded over Dragon Ball. Also, so
it goes hard, man.
It goes hard, man.
And honestly, it goes hard in the hood. Like,
dude, hell yeah, dude.
Like it goes super
Dragon
fucking
Ball
hard in the hood, bro.
is a hood anime, bro, and. Look, I grew up in Southwest A-Leaf, bro, and like I'm never gonna pretend like my hood is the hoodest of places, right. But it was it was a hood, bro, and everybody fucking loved Dragon Ball, dude, and like
bro, the games, holy
shit, dude, Budokai 3, hooking that up, Tenkaichi, man, like. Dude, that Dragon Ball stuff was a currency in my neighborhoods, bro. Like, dude, man. Like, oh yeah, you see what happened to Gohan and stuff like this. Like everyone's talking about all the time, dude. And like you hear references to it in like songs these days as well.
Yeah,
and,
there's
like,
a lot of like young rappers that are referencing.
Yeah, man. Like Dragon Ball and Naruto were like heavy, like and Bleach too. And honestly, it's probably because like the visual aesthetics, you know, of all those kind of things too as well. But yeah, man, that was definitely a hood icon. Goku is a hood icon, man.
Not for sure.
I remember when he had that fitted cap on. He had the snapback.
Dude, I've been seeing there's these like, you know those fucking I don't know what to call them, bro. Like dank memes, just kind of.
Yeah, just some dank ass memes, yeah.
Bro, there's this meme of Gohan and Piccolo, and for whatever reason, Gohan has like 360 waves, like. And he's like,
is he with like the Namekians or something? Like different.
Piccolo's like trying to educate him on what to do. He's like, you see, and he's like, oh my god, someone's approaching. He's like, he's not in dap distance yet. Whenever they dap each other,
just wait.
Whenever they dap, it shows like the universe, and it's so fucking stupid, bro. What are you making laugh?
That's so fucking funny, man.
The memes as well.
The memes, dude, for Dragon Ball is insane. And I love it.
Were you into like Team 4-Star at all? Dragon Ball?
Oh, I love Team 4-Star.
Oh man,
that got me. So there was a moment, Dragon Ball ended. There was nothing new,
right,
at all. And then Team 4-Star, and this was before like they revitalized it with Battle of Gods and stuff like that. Team 4-Star comes out of nowhere with this incredible dub, this hilarious parody, and.
YouTube as well, bro. Early YouTube. 08, 09 type shit.
And I remember it was this one summer, and I was just sick. I don't remember what I was sick with, but I couldn't even talk. It hurt. And I was watching that abridged series and the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged series. And it was just making me laugh so much. And it hurt like hell, but it cured my sickness. And I was like, man, this is so great, dude. Yeah, but I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge and Dragon Ball Bridge when they came out.
I think I still have like Dragon Ball Bridge season 1 and 2. I have like all the Saiyan Saga and all the Raditz one.
You have
all the Frieza one. I have it like ripped onto like a hard drive.
Dude, that's so badass, man.
Like just one clip. Like you could just watch the whole series.
Yeah, dude, I rewatched it a couple of years ago and it still makes me laugh. Like I love it, man. And I'm glad that like they weren't forced to take it off of YouTube for like the 10th time, because they were forced to take it off like a couple of times actually. They had to do a lot of re-uploads and things like that, but
that shit's scary, bro.
But they kept Dragon Ball alive for years before there was ever the Dragon Ball Renaissance with Battle of Gods and Up and Super.
Yeah, I mean, really, well, we just have like these random like Japanese like short films and shit.
That it was just random stuff. Yeah. And then Dragon Ball Evolution, the live action movie.
Fucking, let's get into that. I want to ask you.
Oh man, dude,
what the fuck did you think of that, bro? Because when I saw the trailer, I swear to God, I was like, oh, this is fake. This isn't real. Like, and then I actually started seeing like spots for it on like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, and I was like, wait, this is actually real? What the fuck,
dude? I was trying to force myself to like it. I was trying my hardest to force yourself to like that. Like it makes sense. They couldn't do the Pilaf stuff and the tournament stuff. It's boring, so they had to get to Piccolo, right? And I'm just like, this is trash, but this is all I got. There's no more anime. They're never gonna bring it back. This is all I'm getting, man. This is all I'm getting.
That's the thing. It came out in between like all that shit. It was just like a like you said, a dry period.
The dry period, and I was forcing myself to like it in the hopes that they would make a sequel and do it right. And like, okay, they know this sucks. Everybody's saying it sucks. But maybe if we support it, they'll make another one. They'll do a good job.
Then we'll get to Vegeta and all the other.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, maybe when they bring Vegeta in, it'll be great. But nah, it was bad. It was complete and utter garbage. They only made that movie so Fox can continue to hold the rights to Dragon Ball at the time. And
so it's some Spider-Man shit.
It's some Spider-Man shit. Fox and a lot of those companies do that shit all the time. They because of how YouTube was at the time. All the internet gossip of how those kind of things work. Apparently companies all the time have like a certain quota of how many years they can go without making a property for something, or like a content for a property, and they had to reach their quota, their length for a Dragon Ball, and like, yo, let's just make a shitty ass movie.
You think that's how Sony was getting away with doing the whole like Sonyverse type shit?
I mean, that was happening for Spider-Man for a bit. Yeah, I think doing those really garbage movies, like,
dude, I haven't watched any of them.
Like the Venom ones are a fun time. They're not great, but they're like a fun time. If you're ever like high or something, just like sit down at home. Don't go to a theater. Do it, please.
Definitely not.
I'm sorry. Some movies do not deserve your money at a theater. Sometimes just stream them. Yeah. But yeah, those. But Morpheus, I'm sorry, Morbius, Morbin time.
It's Morbin time, dude.
Was only funny because of the memes, and then Jared Leto taking it serious, like, yeah, people love this. We're putting it back in theaters for the fans.
And no one fucking.
No way. It's like, bro, it's just memes. And then Madam Web was bad. I actually watched some of it, not in theaters. It's only because. Okay. Me and my girlfriend were just chilling, and she was looking on Netflix, and it just came on Netflix. And randomly, while I was doing something else, I heard the movie like behind me, and I was like, what's that? Like, there's no way she just put on that movie. And I turned around, and it was Madam Web, and I was like, why'd you put this on? She's like, I don't know. It looks like it's gonna be really good. I'm like, oh man. I'm gonna sit down and watch this with you.
How long did I get into it, man?
Man, we're about 20 minutes in. I'm like, what is this? Like, I didn't feel like I was watching anything related to Spider-Man, to be honest with you. Dude.
That's what fucks me up with those movies. That's one of the reasons why I haven't watched any of them. I'm like, these are Spider-Man movies with no Spider-Man. I just can't wrap my head around the shit.
I think some movies you can you really listen to word of mouth if it's trash. Mm-hmm. You know, like. Some movies are just trash, and you shouldn't spend your money on it, you know?
So is this... are those like... Because you've watched a couple of them. Are they like Fantastic Four type shit? Or like Ghost Rider type shit? Or
Man, I would say those Fantastic Four movies were more entertaining.
I actually liked those as a kid. Yeah, these are pretty decent.
And I would say those Ghost Rider movies were more entertaining because Nicolas Cage is crazy. So, yeah, like...
dude, this is random, but he was in a movie called Dream Scenario.
Oh, I don't think I saw that.
Jesus Christ. If you and your girl should watch that, because it's... I'll give you a brief synopsis.
Yeah.
So he plays this mild-mannered retired teacher. He's balding and shit. Yeah. He's a professor. And for whatever reason, people start having dreams, and he'll pop up in their dreams. Mm. And not do anything. He's just in the dream.
That's really random, but that's kind of an interesting concept.
And it becomes an epidemic, where his students are having it, his daughters are having it. People around the world are like, is this the guy from my dreams? They found his Facebook and who the fuck is this guy?
That sounds like it could be hilarious.
It's pretty funny.
Was it a dark comedy kind of thing?
Kind of. Yeah,
okay, I love those kind of movies. Those can be really fucking hilarious. Plus, it's Nicolas Cage. He's crazy.
He's crazy.
I love him. He's always a good time, whatever movie he's in. What movie was he just in? That I recently watched. Man. No. He popped up as Superman in that Flash movie. Oh fuck. The CG thing that happened.
That was wild.
Yeah, that was wild. That was a wild time. But, yeah, those Spider-Man movies, the spin-off ones, they're trash. Watch all those old ones that Fox or Sony did or whatever. They were way better. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they can go from... Because I like the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
No, they're fun.
I loved Andrew Garfield's movies. And really because the stories are bad, but I love the dynamic and the writing and the character work between Peter and Gwen. Honestly, those are the only reasons to watch those movies. Yeah. The two movies, it's just really a sad story about a couple that couldn't be a couple because of his identity. And ultimately, she dies because of it. Mm-hmm. Spoilers. No, I'm sorry if you didn't know Gwen Stacy. Anyways, but... So, honestly, with that, that's really, those are good. Crazy
that, no, I like them, especially because, the dude who did it made 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah, Mark Webb. Yeah, he did 500 Days of Summer.
So, it's just damn, the fact that he's able to,
Yeah, man, that 500 Days of Summer is actually a dark movie. That's a really, kind of it really embodies the dating scene of when people project themselves on somebody that they like so much, you know. Mm-hmm. I don't know, have you watched that movie recently?
Recently, I couldn't say that. I'd say probably 7 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah, so I watched it, and it's the entire time this guy is just fantasizing about this girl, but none of that is real. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of like that Joker movie that came out.
Oh my god!
When you think about it,
Phoenix.
Yeah, the whole time he thinks this girl that he met in the elevator is feeling the same way he is and stuff like that, but really he's just creeping her the fuck out the whole time.
The fuck out of her. Bro.
Yeah.
It's funny, man, because I had my friend Karen on, who's a film a buff and stuff like that. She's really into films.
Oh, sick.
And she was saying how she's I love that movie. She's but totally said that she's yo, a homegirl, I forgot her name, she's she set her boundaries,
She did.
And he didn't like...
He didn't listen. Yeah. I remember a lot of people when that movie first came out.
They were like Team John or whatever the fuck his name is.
Because, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. People think he's cute and stuff like that. And, most people...
Robin, bro.
He was Robin. He was Robin. He was Robin. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, people were like, yo, he was a good guy. Why didn't she want him?
What the fuck, yeah.
She specifically said, like, hey, man, this ain't going to go nowhere. What's up? But, yeah.
Just letting you know, this is, like, not going to... Like, she even told him, like, don't, like...
Straight up, like, this is not going to go anywhere, and this is just for fun and stuff like that.
So got caught up, bro.
Hey, but Robin, The Dark Knight, now we got to talk about that.
What do you
Dark
think
Knight
about
Rises.
that, dude? What do you think about that?
I saw that in theaters.
Same. I saw it the next day after the shooting, which was like...
I saw it the night of the shooting.
Holy
fuck. And when I got out of the theater at like 3 a.m,
you saw the shit?
Yeah, like we all saw the news. Me and my friends were like, dude, there was a shooting in the theater. Like, what? That's crazy. Anyways, we saw it on the night of that at like midnight, the late showing. Because, that was back then still when movies were like events.
Mm-hmm.
Like
where like midnight would be the midnight release.
I loved those, man. But we went to go see it, and it was IMAX, biggest possible screen at Edwards over there, like I think the Memorial area, whatever. Mm-hmm. Man, it was a crazy event, and I was so enthralled with the movie when Joseph Gordon-Levitt had that scene at the end where the lady was like, oh, you have a nice name. And he was like, huh? It's like, Robin, that's a really good name. Me and my friends were just like, oh, snap, that's Robin, bro. Like, we knew it, bro. But it was only until like a couple days later, we're like, man, that was kind of cheesy. Like, when you think about it, like, why was his name Robin? Like, just call it, But
I almost wanted to be like... Why did you do this in the beginning so we would knew who the fuck he was? You know
like just call him Robin. Like we'd all be on board, and stuff like that. But that movie was a hot mess, but I enjoyed it.
What's funny, bro? I was showing I showed my ex I was showing her the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
And she really liked Dark Knight, obviously with Heath Ledger and everything like that.
Great movie.
But she said that she preferred Rises.
I think it's because Rises is more entertaining.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, man.
Like and to be honest, like The Dark Knight makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
It's a lot. That's what she told me, bro. She's like, yo, this is kind of a lot. Like it's really amplifying everything.
Yes, because every other moment, the violins start kicking in and the tension builds up, and you don't know what the Joker's about to do. It's a very intense movie, and I think it's because of that. What is that called? A thriller. That thriller aspect to it fits the Joker character a lot, So that's kind of like that movie's action, the intensity of the build up. What's going to happen? Whereas The Dark Knight Rises, the villain's Bane, and he's a lot more of a physical character. So you get more of like that,
it's more like on-screen
kind of like action takes.
Even though he was cutting promos like a motherfucker, I'm not gonna lie to you. Bane was cutting
promos. Yes,
Bane was cutting promos, bro.
Push away.
Oh my God,
the underground scene in the sewers is one of my favorite scenes from that trilogy. Mm-hmm. Like that first fight between them is incredibly.
They made him
intense.
Look enormous. He's like super small, but
they made Tom Hardy look like a big dude, and the way he wrecked Batman was just sad. I know that was like an older Batman who retired for years, but still it made him really intimidating. He messed him up, broke his mask, broke his back,
fucking slammed him like the comics.
Slammed him, dude. Man, it was crazy, but yeah, I could see why. I think a lot of people would find it more entertaining.
I was gonna say, you know what else? Aspect. What else I think threw her off?
What
was that like? So she was asking me because she had anxiety and stuff.
Yeah,
and she'd be like, "Fuck, this is getting intense. Like, is this like are we getting towards the end of the movie?" Yeah. And I completely forgot that like Two-Face kidnaps homeboy's kids.
And
has a gun to like his child's head. And
like at the whole ending section,
bro. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, I totally forgot about that shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that movie can make people feel uncomfortable. It's a lot darker than The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises feels like it's more clean. You know, even though it's a dark movie in its own right, but yeah, it's just more entertaining.
It felt like the you know, the entertaining ending, even the way they got wrapped up. You know what I'm saying?
It's the big ending, the big typical ending. It felt more like a comic book movie. That I think that's the best way to
you know
like
what
say.
I did enjoy about that one though, his fucking like aircraft that he had. They look like a fucking alien ship.
Yeah, that was cool. When it popped out for the first time in the alley,
boy, I was like, God damn, what the fuck?
Nah, that was sick. That was cool stuff, dude. And then Catwoman, Anne Hathaway was great as Catwoman.
Yeah, she was really good
in that movie for sure. Man, Batman films they don't miss for me.
They're all pretty good, huh?
There hasn't been a Batman. This includes Batman versus Superman. There hasn't been one that has ever like.
Did you like the OG, like Mr. Freeze and shit with like Arnold?
Man, I love those for what they are. Like every Batman movie,
they're campy.
And it goes back to the Adam West stuff too. You know, like Joel Schumacher, he was a director for that, and you could see where he was coming from. He did The Lost Boys, and The Lost Boys is a really awesome movie from the '80s. Have you ever watched it, like the vampires and stuff like that?
Keith Sutherland and shit.
Yeah, and it makes sense. That's like his aesthetic, you know. So going from Tim Burton to Joe Schumacher is jarring, but you just, in hindsight, it's just a different kind of Batman for sure. But I like those old ones too.
Yeah,
like,
the credit card that said forever, dude.
They're fun in their own way. As a kid, I love those movies. As a teenager, I was like, man, these movies are trash, man. As an adult who may consume some things sometimes, finds it entertaining in all the right ways, in the right setting.
I don't think I've ever sat down and watched them like start to finish. The Schumacher ones and shit.
I'm telling you, have just one night, maybe invite some friends over, you know, have a little hit of something, you know, make it a night. Just know that you're going to watch something just really dumb and campy and have fun with it. And it's honestly a great time.
They got Jim Carrey as the Riddler, bro.
That one's fun. That one's a good time. And make a drinking game or something out of Mr. Freeze, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Anytime he says an ice pun, ice to meet you. Fuck, man. All right, give it.
What did he say, bro? I always have one in my head. I have a fucking clip on it on my phone.
He said a lot of them.
What did he say? He's like, what killed the something? The
Ice Age. What killed the dinosaurs? What? The Ice Age. It's like, what kind of... I mean, yeah, but...
He would have totally got me.
What are you trying to tell me right now?
I would have been like, what? And he would have just froze the shit out of me. I would have been
like,
fucking...
Yeah, you're screwed. Maybe that's why he did it, you know?
Throw him off completely.
He clearly wasn't the Joker or the Riddler to say good enough jokes, so clearly he was trying to be the Punisher there. Oh, puns.
Let me ask you this, man. What do you think, or what did you think, I guess, of the whole like DCEU fucking mess that was going on there?
You are asking the right fanboy.
What did you think about that shit? Because the Flash was something. I'm not gonna lie, like it was like, and not in a good way.
So let me give you some context real quick, just so before we get into this. I'm a huge wrestling fan. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, but I'm an even bigger DC fan.
DC's the one for you.
It's so like, I don't know if you ever seen the Justice League cartoon, like the Unlimited series, and the one before that. I loved that series. That's great. Like, I have to say American animation, because at that time there weren't a lot of like serious American cartoons. Just
Batman, no?
Just the Batman animated series, the Superman one, and the Spider-Man one to some degree.
X-Men.
X-Men to some degree. They were still kind of like Saturday morning cartoons, but that Batman one, that Superman one, and the Justice League, they felt like really adult shit.
They elevated the shit.
Yeah, they had really intuitive and unique storylines, and I got into that, and I love that show, and that set me in motion to explore the whole DC world. You know, I even got into the CW shows like Arrow, The Flash, Constantine.
You're deep into it then. Okay.
I watched the Constantine movie, man. I love the Batman movies. I used to watch all the cartoon movies.
Yo, you said Constantine? That's my boy right there, Constantine, bro. Hellblazer? Holy shit.
Even like the Keanu Reeves one that came out, and the show that came out. And I love that he came back for the Arrow show too, and he cameoed in there, the one who played him in the live action show. But I loved all of that, dude. And when Man of Steel came out,
Give me. What do you think about Man of Steel? I actually really
love Man of Steel. That's a really great movie for what it set out to do. Mm-hmm. It's not anything that came out for Superman before, but you also have to we all have to take into context. Before that was Superman Returns. Everybody found that so boring. So of course they set out, well, let's make a not boring Superman movie. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I don't think Man of Steel is perfect, but it was fun.
I think it's more than passable, though.
It's way better than passable, for sure.
Solid,
that's a 7 to 8 to me.
When it's about theater experiences, yes, dude. Seeing that in theaters was wild.
So back to the Dark Knight Rises. At the end of that movie, because of I don't know why, but because of what happened with that shooting, they didn't show us the trailers before the Dark Knight Rises happened. Because I guess the news coming out, people were kind of panicking, being on edge and watching out. So they gave us the opportunity, hey, we know everybody wanted to see the Man of Steel teaser trailer. They're going to show it in this theater over here if you guys that missed it want to come see it.
That's sick.
So when the Dark Knight Rises ended, we all went to go see it, and we sat there, and just the vibe of that, it had this Gandalf Lord of the Rings music, and I was like, wow, this is going to be a really deep-ass movie. Mm. And when we did, and I watched it, me and my friends, I loved it, dude. The action, bro, tell me this. Tell me you did not feel like you just saw a live action Dragon Ball fight scene.
Yes.
Bro,
that was Zod? Oh my god.
Dude, incredible, right?
I was like, that's it right there. That's
the closest thing to that. The going through the buildings, the
high budget,
the camera work of them flying and fighting, incredible. I'm a huge Zack Snyder fan for his visual style, and just man, if we had the movie running right now, I would geek out and pause at moments to be like, you see this shot, and then he goes into this. It's crazy. It's almost like animation.
Mm-hmm. Literally like comic panels in a certain way.
Yeah.
Straight up panels.
It's crazy what he did, but it was visually amazing to me. I thought the story was great too. The only thing I wish that movie did was a little bit more, just with Henry Cavill and his take with Clark Kent and stuff like that. I just wanted a little bit more character out of him. He seemed less of a character than most people, and mostly felt like I don't know. It felt like more people reacting to him and less about him and himself. And maybe
he was almost like a mystery to even us, even the audience.
Yeah, because he didn't really emote too much either, and that's not a bad thing. It's whatever the movie wanted to set out to do, and I liked it for what it was. And I borderline loved it for the action scenes and the incredible work that it was. And then going into Batman v Superman.
BVS.
Dude, I saw it in theaters, and I know people didn't like it, but I loved it.
I had a good time with it, man. I had a really good time with it.
Yeah, man. The trailers to it made me hyped. Ben Affleck's Batman, to me, is the best Batman. Anybody can argue that with me. That, to me, is the most authentic Batman I've ever seen on the big screen.
The swagger, the Bruce Wayne swagger that he had.
Swagger, but the really capturing the anger behind Bruce Wayne. There's that moment where you see him staring at the bat suit because he's about to go put it on. He just looks so pissed off, and he's like, it's almost like you're watching Bruce Wayne switch into Batman mode before putting the costume. It was so cool.
And they always say that Bruce Wayne's the master.
Yeah. It's like he's coming. It's crazy, but also just the scenes they had with Batman, like the warehouse fight scene. There's this one shot where he has the glowing eyes. It's crazy, dude. They really captured the spirit of Batman more so than I think even the Christopher Nolan movies. Christopher Nolan movies, they have my least favorite Batman, and I know that's controversial. Yes, that's controversial. I like Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne and him because he made Bruce Wayne a caricature. And you can see when he shifts from character Bruce Wayne and serious Bruce Wayne. There's that moment in The Dark Knight Rises where the Joker came in to the scene and he was messing with people in the hall. They're having a banquet. And you see Bruce Wayne I'll be back real quick. Yeah. And he goes into the hall. He beats the shit out of a guy real quick, gets stoic, rips up the gun, goes into a thing and shifts into Batman mode. That was incredible. Yeah. But when he's Batman, he does that voice. I'm like, this is just too silly for me. I'm sorry.
Dude, this is off real quick, but what my favorite scene of that shit was? The Dark Knight was when, spoiler, but after Rachel dies, and he's just sitting down like with the suit on with like no mask on, and fucking Alfred has that letter and he's just like saying the time, put it up real quick.
Yeah, that was an incredibly emotional moment in that movie.
Man, I was like, Jesus. But I see what you're saying. I think he was really good as Bruce.
Yeah,
and okay as Batman.
But I also feel like Christopher Nolan didn't know how to shoot Batman. Because you look at Batman Begins, it's really quick cuts. You can't really see what's happening. And then with Dark Knight Rises, the fight scenes are a little wonky. Mm-hmm. And then you go to Batman v Superman, like... Bro, every time they film Batman, he legitimately looks scary. Yeah. He was an intimidating, brutal, like big a fucking dude.
Force, bro.
Old, grizzled Batman is scary. But, yeah, I love that movie. I like the story plot for all of that. Henry Cavill, that was, for me, the height of Henry Cavill's portrayal of Superman. Just seeing him so conflicted with the things he had to do in that movie. People hating him, but trying to be the hero for them. I love that movie.
Other people seeing him as like a savior almost.
Yes, and just him knowing not knowing. My favorite moment in that is when he's sitting down, he's watching the news channels just bashing him. He's like, can we trust him? And the first thing he does is he calls his mom. Yeah. And he's like, Mom? And I'm just like, that is the realest shit. Like, I'm sure us as adults, we all had those moments, right? Where we finally moved out of the house. We're not living with our parents anymore. We're in maybe a different city or just a different area. And we're just like, man, this is kind of stressful living out here. It's just, it's a different world. And you're like, you want to call someone that you can comfort you, that makes you think of home. That might be your mom, might be your dad, might be whoever, But that was one of those kind of moments that's super relatable.
Yeah, not for sure.
Yeah, but that was the best Superman thing. The 3-hour cut of that movie is fantastic. I don't know
BVS,
if I don't know if you saw it, but I love it, man. It's great. And I'm one of those people that watch the 4-hour cut of Watchmen. So I love that. That is, to me, the pinnacle of comic book cinema. But anyways.
So it'd be what, JLA or Justice League next? Or?
I watched Justice League. Well, I guess Wonder Woman came out.
I thought Wonder Woman was cool.
Yeah, I'm not going to go through all this. I know it would be the longest podcast ever. Wonder Woman was cool. Suicide Squad was weird. The first one, I didn't like. I liked the second one that came out later because it was fun. And John Cena as Peacemaker was a good time.
The first one was kind of wacky, bro. Because like they had like really good songs selected for the soundtrack. Yeah. But they're like DJing the fuck out of it, like just throwing them at you.
I feel like they were trying to be too edgy to a fault. Where it's like, okay, now it's kind of cringe.
It felt like Hot Topic, but on the fucking screen.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, man. And then Jared Leto's Joker was like, okay, there could have been something there, but it's kind of weird.
It was a choice.
Yeah, like I think he would have played a great Joker if just like somebody gave him the right thing, But I don't think that was the right thing for him.
I think if they just like made it more subtle. And not so, and you're not damaged, not
tattoos, the mouth tattoo, like.
Although I ain't gonna lie, as a kid, I kind of liked it, but as an adult, I'm kind of like,
it was clever, but I was like, ugh. But yeah, but those are cool. Some of them not too great.
When do you think it took like a dark turn, right quick? We were just like,
to be honest, it was when Joss Whedon came in and
when he finished
did the theatrical Justice League. I went in there, and my friend was a huge Marvel fan, so he loves the Marvel movies, and I liked them. I didn't love them, but in hindsight, I now see them as really great movies comparison to the new Marvel movies.
Same.
But at the time, I wanted more seriousness from them. But anyways, he loved them, so knowing that Joss Whedon was doing it, he was like ready to love this Justice League movie.
Did Avengers.
Yeah, and I was ready to be like, man, I don't want this to be just campy, but let's go and let's see what happens. We both sat down and watched it, and we both just did not like it at all. We were like, this is just, what were they trying to do?
It just felt kind of incomplete, man.
It felt like a movie was missing a lot, and it was missing a lot, but also like it looked ugly. Yeah, like it was like color graded.
Fucking Cyborg dude.
Yeah, the color grading looked like a Fast and Furious movie. You know how everybody looks overly tan and overly yellow, or like it looked like a Michael Bay Transformers movie.
Damn.
Where everybody looks like they're in a sauna the whole time, but yeah, it wasn't too great, and I think that's where it went downhill.
What do you think about Flash? You mentioned it earlier.
Man, Flash.
I thought the shit with him and his mom was very emotional. Like, the stuff with him and his mom, I was like, wow.
To be honest, I like the movie.
Yeah?
I know people didn't like the movie. And And to this day, I don't really know why. I watched a lot of reviews on YouTube for it, but I genuinely liked the movie. And that moment where he had to decide to let his mom die legitimately made me like tear up a little bit.
No, for sure. It got heavy. Like, he's a good actor as well, even though he's fucking out of his mind, but he's a good actor.
Yeah. I like the movie. I personally, as a fan, thought the movie was going to do something else, like with Reverse Flash and doing a little bit more, but it went the Dark Flash route. And I liked Michael Keaton coming back to it for a bit too. Like, that was kind of cool. I just only have gripes in like a fanboy manner, not in like the movie didn't give me this, but like as a fan, like I wish the Gotham they were in looked like Tim Burton's Gotham, you know, right. Because that's Michael Keaton's Batman. Or, you know, I wish that like they didn't do this whole CGI thing with the original, like, you know, the cameos. Like, I wish that like they had maybe Grant Gustin pop in as his Flash, you know, doing something, you know, those kind of things. But
I agree with you, man.
It was, I was more like upset with it as a fanboy, but as a movie, what it gave me, it's not a bad movie. It really isn't. It legitimately is your better than average superhero movie. I would give it a 7. I'd give it a B.
This is ranking way more than Morbius and all that other shit.
Oh, way more than that. No, those are legitimately bad movies. So like there was no heart in them. That movie tried its best to have a heart, and with the studio that did not know what to do with these properties. So
oh my god, that's the thing that always blew my mind. Even as a fan, or even like growing up, I was like, here I am, fucking twiddling my thumbs as a Marvel fan, just like, when are we gonna get X-Men? When are we gonna get Spider-Man?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Warner Brothers is sitting on all their characters, bro. They have them
all, and it's like, please do something, you know.
Even if they wanted to go a different route with like throw a Swamp Thing in there,
dude,
fucking something crazy. You know what I mean?
When they announced the Justice League Dark movie, the original we're gonna do with Constantine, Swamp Thing, Zatanna, I was like, yo, this is gonna be incredible. This is gonna be cool, because you know that would have been really tight to just throw these obscure characters like they did with the second Suicide Squad movie. These obscure characters and just giving them some shine. You could do a lot of things with those things.
Yeah.
You know? I thought that was going to be cool, because I don't know if you were into the comics at the time.
Justice League Dark, I read mostly like just Constantine and Swamp Thing. Those
I only read them because there was this big crossover event happening that was going to kill off the New 52. Yes. I was like, I kind of want to see what happens. So I was like, I have the whole collection for Justice League Dark.
They always get you with the New 52.
I'm like, yeah, man, that's kind of cool. But yeah, but those movies, they were hit and miss. I really liked the 4-hour cut of Zack Snyder's Justice League. That to me was amazing, and I would recommend it to anybody. And I'm glad they broke it up in like 6 parts so you can watch it. That was the height of the COVID era for me, because, you know, it came out during COVID and stuff. Aquaman was fun. The second Aquaman I actually thought was fun too. It was actually a good time. Wonder Woman 2 was really bad.
Yeah.
That was really bad, and I don't know why it had to be that bad, but it was bad.
Man, I think it wasn't my boy Pedro. Did he fuck it up?
No, you know, he's a really good actor. He played his character so well.
Yeah.
I just think Patty Jenkins, the director, like,
she's got lost in the sauce.
She wanted something that was more like Christopher Reeve Superman, and that doesn't work right now unless you do it like right, like how kind of Smallville, that TV show, did.
Right.
But yeah, that killed it.
Yeah.
Because Wonder Woman was something they did right.
First woman-led superhero, you know what I mean?
Exactly, but having a bad sequel, I think, killed the DCU for sure. DCEU, so... Yeah, man, I think that's where it all, like, really just... You knew it was dead at that point, for sure.
What are your thoughts on, like, James Gunn and stuff like that? Are you excited to see what he...
Oh, yeah, I'm excited for that stuff. James Gunn... I really liked the Peacemaker show, and that was really good time. Yeah, dude, and Guardians of the Galaxy was a good time. I mean, I think he's gonna do a good job. I don't see why he wouldn't. He seems like he gets what he's doing. I think people just want to be upset at it. So,
but I love what he did with Guardians. Honestly, I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Third one had me emotional, man.
Dude, that trilogy of Marvel movies is probably. I don't think there's a. Is there another trilogy of Marvel movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Maybe Captain America, but that third one was really an Avengers movie. Like Civil War was straight up an Avengers movie.
Civil War was a disappointing movie to me.
Damn, really?
Yeah. I think it's only because visually I thought it was really like boring. The story is great. It's a good time. It didn't seem like the stakes were high. Like when the superheroes, when they were all fighting in the airport, like they just all like, everybody else but Cap and Iron Man were serious. Everybody else was taking it so nonchalant. Like,
they're just like, whoa.
Yeah, hey, like, I guess we're fighting right now. Hey, watch out. Don't hit me there. Like,
don't pull your punches.
So, like, all right. You know, so it didn't feel like a civil war. It felt like you know, it didn't need that. Just, you know, it didn't feel like any of that. But the stuff with Cap and Tony, like, was really like intense and emotional. Yeah, that guy like, that last scene when they were fighting, man, hit. But yeah,
with Bucky and shit. That was
man, that's a heavy movie, and I like it a lot. So you're right. I think the Captain movies are probably the other really good trilogy in the Marvel ones.
But really, that third one, even though I love it, is like that's fucking Avengers.
It's an Avengers movie for sure. Yeah, because you have the whole squad.
Everyone's there. There's really no like. More, to be honest with you, I'd say the focus is more on like Tony and shit. Just him kind of figuring out what the fuck happened to his parents.
It feels like it's also making up for the third Iron Man movie, which wasn't the best.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I saw that in theaters midnight release.
I did too. Man.
I was like, this is like gonna sound awkward, but I was super scared, bro, because I totally got like, I went with like a friend. Mm-hmm. A friend drove us, and it was like me, my friend Nikki, my friend Eric, and my friend Manuel. We bought tickets, and we were like, all right, midnight release, fuck it. I was like, I don't know what theater we went to, but it was far as fuck. Maybe I was because I was a kid, but I just felt super far. So we get there, and then we buy the tickets, and we're like, all right, we got like 30 minutes to kill. Like, you guys want food or anything? And then like he's like, yo, I gotta go. My mom said she needs a car. I gotta like get out of here. And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, we just got tickets, and it became this whole thing where like we got into it, and he ended up like fucking off with like my friend Manuel. And me, my friend Nikki, and Eric were just like, fuck, dude, we have no ride home.
That's like, crazy.
And we were so far away, bro. I'm telling you, I don't know what fucking theater it was, but we were so far away. And
how did you guys get home?
I ended up texting my cousin, who at the time was like, he's always been like older than me. He's like 3 years older than me. So he had like his shit together already, like had a car and stuff.
That's what's up. That's
but
good.
He pulled up with his girlfriend. He's like, dude, what theater do you have me at right now?
where the hell is this,
he's
man?
Like, this shit is so far. I'm like, dude, I don't know. And then like he was dropping everybody off, and like, bro, I didn't get home until like 4 a.m, bro. 4 a.m.
That's crazy, man. That's one of those horror stories that like, oh man, where the hell am I?
And on top of everything, the movie wasn't even that good. You know what I'm saying? It was like decent.
You're having this trash situation in this trash movie. That sucks, man.
I was like, dude, it's
horrible.
Like, was it just a situation that made it? Then I ended up watching like years later, and I was like, nah, it was just kind of, you know.
No, it just wasn't a good movie. I didn't like the second one either with Whiplash.
Yeah, I thought the beginning was good, but like,
yeah,
it just kind of lost itself. Like,
it's just Iron Man villains aren't interesting. You know, they're not that interesting.
No, they're not that interesting.
Like Tony himself, Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark is just fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. He's entertaining. He's fun. You know what I'm saying?
First Iron Man movie is really good. Mm-hmm. You know, you got a really good story there. Everything else after was just more about fun and games. So, but man, the MCU fell off. But that's okay. Hopefully, it's about to pick back up with Deadpool.
I hope so.
Yeah, man.
I think them like only releasing that movie this year.
It's a good idea.
And no shows are like it's perfect. That's exactly what they need, bro. Slow the fuck down. You feel me? Just slow the shit down.
Too many shows.
Way too many, dude.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of this shit, and I was like, eh.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't watch Moon Knight because I saw.
That's the only one that I watched.
Yeah. Because there were so many. I saw WandaVision, right? And I loved WandaVision. What was the other one that came out at the same time?
Was it Loki?
No, Loki came out. I watched the first season of Loki. There was another one that came out at the same time as WandaVision.
Oh, was it Captain America and Winter and
I didn't watch that one. I didn't watch that one either. I just saw clips. It was just because like so many shows were coming out back to back, and then the movies were hitting theaters at the same time.
I would actually like recommend Moon Knight. I actually really enjoyed that, but that's the only one that I watched.
People told me it was good, so I'm like, I want to watch it, but like you know, it reached a point where it's like I'm watching so many other things, and I would have to really make the time to go back and rewatch it now at this point, and knowing that like they're not really doing anything with Moon Knight in the movies, it's like, well,
it's kind of inconsequential.
Yeah, for sure. Like I saw clips from She-Hulk, and I just knew I didn't want to watch it.
Megan Thee Stallion just twerking real quick, bro.
Yeah, I guess that happened. Like, I mean, those kind of things aren't a problem as long as it makes sense for like the story and what you're like doing with shows. But if it's just like random, like just stuff to throw out there to please random audience members that don't watch this shit or care about it, like it's just kind of weird, you know? Weird. It's like, it's just those kind of things that like when studios want to attract what they call mainstream audiences, but like you already have,
you feel like it's corporate a bit.
Yeah, you already have families and people watching the MCU. You don't have to do all this stuff anymore.
You got them on lock,
bro. We're already hooked in, you know, like. So when you start doing stuff like that, it's like you just end up killing off your fan base because like now you're just doing too many pop culture references, and it dates what you're creating. And once that time passes, it's like somebody's gonna watch it like 5 years from now. It's like, oh, Megan Thee Stallion, who's that? Or like, oh, she was popular for a time, you know, or you know, like twerking example. That might not be the big dance, and 10 years from now, someone's gonna watch She-Hulk. It's like, what is that? You know, like some shit, you know. But yeah, the studios do that kind of shit all the time. But it's random. It's like, what the fuck? But
it is. What a way to end it, man.
Yeah.
What a way to end it. I had a really good time talking, bro. Talked about some wrestling. Talked about some comics, Dragon Ball Z. It was a really fucking...
Ended it with She-Hulk twerking.
Yeah, I don't know about... It's been an odd way to end it, but...
Yeah, you know, She-Hulk and Megan Thee Stallion twerking. That's how you end the podcast.
I'm just seeing it in my head. I'm just seeing it right now, bro.
In the credits. But,
I was gonna say, before you leave, do you want to have it? Do you want to plug anything before you head out of here?
Man, okay.
Any socials? Any links?
I'm making a new band. We haven't decided on the name. It might be a familiar name that people may know us by. We'll see what happens. We have a single coming out at the end of the summer and a big show at White Oak on September 14th. Ooh. It's going to double as my birthday party, my best friend's birthday party, and I guess I'm going to say this now. If you know the kiddos, it's going to be Kiko's birthday party as well.
Shout out to fucking dude.
He might be joining us on stage for this project. So for those that know these people and who live in the Houston area, look out for those announcements. You can find me at Mikester Prime on Instagram. We haven't made the band page yet, but we will. So look forward to those things. The name of the group will be dropping. The socials will come soon. Yeah, and get ready for that. It's going to be something pretty awesome.
Hell yeah, bro. I really appreciate you coming by, man. I had a good time.
No, thanks, man. I appreciate it. When you hit me up, I was like, I don't know what to expect from this podcast session, but this was probably the most entertaining one so far.
Just chill, right?
Just some geeky shit that I don't get to talk about in public.
I always try to make it more conversational. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. More just kind of like more lax.
No, but that's great because like between, you know, Danny and Ulysses, you know, Ulysses is more about like people's like endeavors, the artistry of like, oh, you're a photographer or your music thing, and we'll talk about music for hours or projects that we're doing, which is great. You know, Danny, he's more on like the music side of things, so he really wants to get to know the artists. And like for yours, it's like, yo, sit down, talk about all the other stuff you're interested in. You know, we sure, like, you know, you already got these other places you could talk about this. Let's see what you're into. You know,
definitely,
like,
bro.
And that's cool. Like, that's cool as fuck. You know, there needs to be somebody who does that too. You know,
yeah, for sure. I always like having my guests, you know, let their hair down and just kind of like take it easy and shit. They don't really have to stress about anything. And then I kind of like you brought up the whole like music shit in the middle of the whole race stuff. I was like, wow, I didn't expect any of that.
Yeah, it's like, you know, that's part of the things when when an artist or anybody talks about the things they're into, you're gonna find out that those things connect to the things they do. So yeah, dude. It's wild. It's wild. This was a fun podcast. I really loved it.
I appreciate
this was
a
good time.
We can chop it up right now when we're head outside.
Yeah. We'll, you know, chop it up a little bit more for sure. You know, make sure to like and subscribe. You know, to the pod.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. Well, guys, that's gonna do it for this week's episode. I have been your host, Cesar Perez, of a Thinking Boy podcast with
Mikester Prime here. Over here, Mike. Go ahead and follow me on my socials, Mikester Prime. You'll find me there. Add me, whatever. Talk. It's a good time, yo.
Hell yeah, dude. Until next time, guys. Peace.
Peace out.
Nice.